There are moments on live television that go beyond entertainment, moments so powerful they transcend the screen, ripple through society, and spark conversations that refuse to fade. This is the story of one such moment. It happened during what was supposed to be just another prime-time interview, filled with rehearsed questions and predictable answers. But instead, the world witnessed something extraordinary, a black entrepreneur who didn't just answer a question, he dismantled an entire narrative. His reply didn't just silence a room, it stunned a nation. Before we dive into this unforgettable exchange, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We share stories that inspire, challenge, and shift perspectives. If you're passionate about hearing voices that break the mold and narratives that defy expectations, hit that subscribe button now and join us on this journey. Marcus Ellison's rise wasn't the kind you see glamorized in business magazines or Hollywood films. Born and raised in the heart of Detroit, Michigan, Marcus grew up surrounded by challenges that most people only read about. His neighborhood was one of those places often reduced to statistics, poverty rates, crime reports, underfunded schools. But for Marcus, it wasn't a statistic, it was home. A place where resilience wasn't a buzzword, it was a way of life. From a young age, Marcus showed an exceptional aptitude for technology. While other kids played outside, he was dismantling old computers he found in dumpsters, teaching himself how to code using outdated manuals from the local library. His curiosity was relentless, and his determination even stronger. But talent alone doesn't open doors, especially when those doors are guarded by systemic barriers. Marcus faced them all: teachers who underestimated him, employers who overlooked him, investors who dismissed him. But he kept pushing. Fast forward to his early 30s, and Marcus was no longer the kid with second-hand circuit boards. He was the founder and CEO of a revolutionary tech company specializing in AI-driven logistics solutions, a company valued in the multi-million-dollar range. His success wasn't just financial, it was symbolic. It defied every stereotype, every limitation society tried to place on him. And that's exactly why he was invited to be a guest on the Prime Hour, one of the nation's most watched talk shows. The studio was as polished as expected: sleek designs, bright lights, and an audience ready for another night of engaging content. The host, known for their sharp wit and occasionally controversial questions, welcomed Marcus with a charismatic smile. The interview started smoothly, with questions about innovation, leadership, and the future of technology. Marcus answered with ease, his confidence evident but never arrogant. But then came that question. The host leaned in slightly, a practiced smile playing at the corners of their mouth. "Marcus," they began, their tone casual yet loaded, "your story is truly inspiring. But don't you think your success is, well, the exception? Considering where you come from, isn't it rare for someone like you to achieve this level of success?" The words floated in the air, deceptively simple but heavy with implication. The subtext was clear: people like you aren't supposed to make it this far. It was the kind of question designed to provoke, to corner, to reinforce a narrative that framed success for black individuals as an anomaly rather than a norm. The audience grew noticeably quieter, sensing the tension. Marcus didn't rush to respond. He sat for a moment, the silence amplifying the weight of the moment. Then, with a calm, steady voice, he replied, "I think the real question here isn't about my success being rare. The question is, why does it seem rare to you? My achievements aren't rare because of who I am or where I come from. They seem rare because of the narrative society keeps telling itself. There are countless brilliant, driven people who look like me, who come from places like where I grew up, achieving incredible things every single day. The difference? They don't get invited to sit in this chair. You don't hear about them because the media doesn't look for them, not because they don't exist." Silence. Not the kind that begs to be filled, but the kind that forces reflection. The host, momentarily stripped of their practiced charm, blinked, clearly caught off guard. They tried to pivot, to steer the conversation back to safer ground, but the moment had already shifted. The power dynamic had changed. Within hours of the interview airing, social media erupted. Clips of Marcus's reply spread like wildfire, shared across platforms with captions like, "This is the truth we've been waiting to hear," and "Marcus Ellison didn't just answer, he educated." Hashtags trended globally, hashtag Marcus Ellison, hashtag change the narrative, hashtag not the exception. But it wasn't just about the viral moment. News outlets picked up the story, op-eds were written, debates ignited. People from all walks of life shared their own experiences, stories of being underestimated, overlooked, dismissed. Marcus's words had tapped into something deeper than a single interview. They had sparked a collective reckoning with the narrative society perpetuates. And Marcus? He didn't let it end with a soundbite. He used the momentum to amplify voices that often go unheard. He launched a foundation dedicated to supporting young entrepreneurs from underrepresented communities, providing not just funding but mentorship, resources, and platforms. He spoke at universities, conferences, community centers, anywhere people were willing to listen. What made his response so powerful wasn't just the eloquence of his words, it was the undeniable truth behind them. He didn't respond with anger, though it would have been justified. He responded with clarity, dismantling not just a question but the entire framework of assumptions that question represented. This story isn't just about Marcus Ellison. It's about the countless individuals whose brilliance goes unrecognized because of the narrow lens through which society views success. It's a reminder that representation matters, not just in boardrooms or on television screens, but in the stories we tell and the narratives we choose to believe. If this story resonated with you, if it challenged your perspective or inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We share stories that matter, stories that don't just fill time but fill hearts and minds with purpose. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and tell us in the comments, what narrative are you ready to challenge?